Thank you so much for coming. I'm Kate Klonick. I am a professor of law at St. John's University who's hosting this conference, and I am so happy to welcome you to Como 3, which is the brainchild of Eric Goldman, who is in the audience and will be on the moderator in our next panel. We have an incredible day of discussion and panelists lined up to talk about an incredibly important topic. But before I say more on that, I just want to thank a few people. First and foremost, our sponsors, without whom this would not have been possible: the Anti-Defamation League, Charles Koch Institute, Berkman Klein Center, Center for Democracy and Technology, Tech NYC, EFF, Data and Society, Santa Clara Law School, Internet Society, and the Information Society Project at Yale Law School. It's like the who's list of fancy content moderation and internet organizations. Thank all of you so much, and of course I wanted to thank St. John's for their support and the use of this building, and specifically Maureen Gillespie, who kind of helps coordinate all of the logistics of everything, Elliot Shine, who's been our intern, and our student volunteers, Brent Bonkamp, Jen Oon, Beth Doe, Elliot Dervich, and John Amato. And finally, to Thomas Caudry, who is sitting right there, who is going to serve as the content moderator of our content moderator questions for the day that you'll be submitting today. And I will just say a little bit about how that's going to work. You'll see that there is up on the screen a number that you can text your questions to, and there's also a tiny URL that you can pull up on a computer and submit questions to. Thomas is going to be picking out kind of the best and most cogent questions and working to then give them to the moderator at the end of the Q&A session so that they can ask those to the panelists. And then, of course, as the most important part of any conference, our hashtag is Como3, as you can see in the top corner. So finally, before we start, I'd like to say a bit about content moderation, censorship, and online speech. I was talking at the University of Chicago last week and on a panel about censorship and content moderation, and people kept talking about censorship. And when they described it, they kept talking about this idea of literally blacking out and redacting FOIA documents or the banning of books by the government. But then in the same breath, they described the importance of the ability to be able to filter and to use information and to have librarians and the press to tell you what books are worth reading and what stories are worth covering. And so the question that I want to pose today, and to use to set the stage as we go through the conference, is how all of this, librarians picking books, editors picking stories to cover, governments redacting information, platforms removing hate speech or graphic content, is all really a form of content moderation. And if so, why are we okay with some of it and not with others? And how do the powers that moderate interact with each other to change and affect the process of moderation itself? So I have some thoughts on this, as you might imagine, but I will just leave you with that to draw your own conclusions from. The benefits and fears of what content moderation can give us and what it can take away have many levers of control in platforms and the press, and I hope that we can discuss these today and take those insights into the future. Thank you so much for coming, and I will start our panel.